Pocket Rockets. This is a game that I haven't played in a long time, actually. But I remembered about this when I recently saw a review by Andrew of Left Hand Reviews. He was reviewing a Launchpad, a game about rocket building, and I thought, rocket building, that's not a very common thing, but I remember I played a game about that in the past, Pocket Rockets, and I decided, well, why not? Why would I not share my opinions about the game in a video review? And here I am, making the video review of Pocket Rockets. The game is mainly made of a deck of cards with some tokens and some pawns. There are 6 special cards that are placed on the board in that disposition in somewhat of a circle or an hexagon, and they form the area in which the pawns belonging to the players will be moving. Around that circle of cards, you place, these are the cards here, those are the components of the rockets that you will try to build. These at the beginning are all shuffled together in a single deck, not divided by colors, you can see, and then you simply divide that deck in 3 smaller decks and you place them by these 3 cards here. Actually, most of these cards can be placed randomly, only these 2 cards must be opposite to one another. The other cards can be placed wherever in the remaining spots. You also place fuel tokens there, you place your pawn on the board, and at the beginning of the game each player receives a base of a rocket. Now, during each turn you have 4 action points that you can spend in different combinations of actions. For an action point, you can move your pawn from the card where the pawn is to the next one. You always have to move in the direction indicated by that arrow. For an action point, if you are adjacent to a deck of cards, you can draw the card on top of the deck and you put it in your hand. If you are in the area of the color of a card that you have in your hand that you want to play the card, then you can spend an action point. So you can play yellow card if you're here, red card, white card, and you can play cards to build your rockets. Rockets always must be built starting from the base, and you can have multiple rockets under construction at the same time. After you place the base, then you can place any number of fuselage part, and the bigger the rocket, the more points it will be worth at the end. But it is very important to remember to complete a rocket by placing a tip on the top of your rocket. Other actions available to you: if you are in this area here, you can spend an action point to place a card from your hand on top of one of the 3 stacks, and then you go through another stack and you choose a card that you place in your hand. If you are here and you have completed at least a rocket, then you can spend an action point to purchase one of these fuel tokens, and you place the fuel token in the base of your completed rocket. Only 1 token per rocket. And these fuel tokens will generate victory points at the end of the game. This is pretty much how the game works. Oh yes, after you complete the rockets, some of the tips will grant you special advantages. For example, if you complete the rocket with that tip, with this tip here, then from that moment on you can move around the board in any direction. You do not have to follow the direction of the arrow. Oh yes, actually, if you are in that area and you spend an action point, you can change the direction of the arrow. So now everybody, including yourself, will be forced to move in the new direction until the arrow is moved again, or unless you have that special advantage there. Players keep going around purchasing cards and putting down cards to build their rockets until the last fuel token is purchased. At that moment, the game ends immediately and you count victory points. In each rocket that you completed, you can count each fuselage card for 2 victory points. So this rocket will be 6, and then each fuel token grants you extra victory points, +1, +2, +3, and +4, depending on the colors. So 6 + 4, this rocket here is worth 10 victory points. This is the catch: if a rocket is not complete, then it is worth 0. Well, first you could not have that. and then it is worth 0. You cannot count the fuselage. So this is pretty much the big dilemma that you will have. Sometimes because your hand is so small, you will have to play cards, and you will try to get rid of them by building multiple rockets at the same time. But remember, if you start building too many, then the game may be over before you complete all or many of those or enough of them, and so you will not have many victory points, especially because the end of the game can be manipulated by the players by purchasing those tokens. So definitely there is a certain degree of chance, but also a degree of risk that you have to choose whether you want to embrace or not. The game definitely is very simple, but as you can see, it offers decisions. It does offer decisions. It does offer ways to interact with the other players, to get in the way of what they're trying to do. And really, there is this big management of risk that you have to take in deciding when it is the right time to complete a rocket and when it is the right time to keep building and keep accumulating potential victory points. So the game is very simple. The game is super light. It plays in 10-15 minutes, but it is pretty entertaining. I definitely find it entertaining. I think that it really can offer some very fun moments. So Pocket Rockets, extremely light, extremely simple, but also look at this, very portable, easy to set up, easy to put back in the box, pretty cheap. So this is a game that for a period of time was my warm-up game, my filler game of choice, and I think that I really want to go back to play it a little bit. I really don't know why I haven't played in such a long time. But Pocket Rockets, this is definitely a fun game. There are way worse ways in which you can spend 10 minutes and $10 than playing this game.